Hello and welcome to the Punk Science page, and this is Punk Science TV. I am Dr. Manjir, and this time we're going to be talking about 5 things that you probably didn't know about the moon. So let's begin. Now, the first thing is you probably didn't know that for some time now we've been seeing these mysterious flashes on the moon, and nobody really knows why that is. So it's been happening since the 1960s, and even amateur astronomers can see them. And these flashes can last for a few minutes to a number of hours, and they are sometimes associated with seismic activity. So that's number one. The next one is that a very strange anomaly has been found at the moon's south pole, and it's something very dense. It's about 300 kilometers beneath the surface, and it's below the south pole. So they think it could be metal, might even be a crystal. So that's an interesting one. So this very substance of the moon is not what we've been expecting. So the next thing is that we actually also have found water ice on the moon. So for many years we thought that the moon was completely dry, but now we know that there's lots of water on the moon, and it's especially around the poles and in the craters as well. So that's number 3. And so the fourth thing that you probably didn't know is that it seems that the moon might have active volcanoes on the far side of the moon. So we think that there were active volcanoes in the past, but not now. But there's been some interesting activity on the moon itself, on the far side. Number 5 is that when you look at the gamma ray spectrum, so part of the electromagnetic spectrum that is gamma rays, and we have certain telescopes that look within this type of spectrum. So when we look at the gamma ray aspect, the moon is actually brighter than the sun. Now that's an interesting one. So what's causing all this? Well, if you've watched this show before, you know that I'm going to say that this is all to do with something called the black hole principle. So the same principle going throughout reality. We have light coming from different dimensions, splitting into antimatter and matter, and combining again to form light. Now, this is happening at every level of the universe, from supermassive black holes in the center of galaxies to different bodies, different planets, all the way down, including stars. And so what's happening in each of these cases is, with the flashes, for example, these are these little bursts that are happening that are coming from the moon itself. So the moon effectively has got this central black hole kind of dynamo as well. And these little flashes that are transient happen. You can't predict how much this sort of breathing process happens, this sort of matter and antimatter splitting and then combining again to form light. It seems to us to be a random pattern. So we're seeing that on the moon as well. So that's what's causing the light. That's also, of course, what's causing the gamma ray radiation coming from the moon that's actually stronger than the sun. So the moon is in itself a source of light and a source of radiation. It's showing the hallmarks of the black hole principle. Another one of the hallmarks is the water production. So as we know, in thunderstorms you get all the hallmarks of the gamma ray of the black hole principle. With the gamma ray flashes, you get electrons almost at the speed of light. That's usually known as lightning. And you also get water in the form of rain. So water is being produced by black holes all across the universe, and we have found pools of water not only in space but on other planets as well. So the moon is producing its own water from its own black hole center. Amazingly radical, I know, and it's especially around the poles because, as we know, the black hole principle works in a bipolar jet pattern. So these craters on the moon that we've been told for many years could be impact craters. Well, they could be, but they also could be signs of ejection from the center of the moon. Now, so that's conjecture, but it's something that we need to think about. And this metallic anomaly, well, the other thing that we know about the black hole principle is it seems to produce elements. We know that it seems to produce hydrocarbons. So this could be something that is actually being produced by the moon. That metal anomaly could be produced by the moon, and that's why it's so far below the surface and coming out of the pole as this sort of bipolar jet pattern. So maybe it's actually a spiral pattern on the moon, and it's actually coming out of that side first. So that's just speculation, but it all fits with what we know of the black hole principle. So the moon, which is our nearest neighbour, behaves in a similar way to a supermassive black hole, just at a different size. So you've got the intermittent flashes, you've got the gamma ray bursts, you've got the water, you've got the volcanic activity, and you perhaps have got the making of elements and things like that. So that's 5 things that you probably didn't know about the moon, and also perhaps the explanation as to why that's happening. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm Dr. Manjia, and thank you for watching.